Hello everyone. In this video, we delve into what an anonymous commenter said about the Good Guy essay written by an MIT professor. A lot of information came out of the essay because it made the professor think about the life of women in today's world. She expressed her fear of falsely affirming women for failure, so she was thoughtful in her interactions. The leader's vision has drawn attention and criticism. Many argue that his ideas reflect an old mentality, while others believe that he has an important message about the complexity of gender dynamics. Her critics, particularly some in the feminist community, have accused her of not fully understanding the nuances of women's experiences. They argue that her focus on her own fears and anxieties prevents her from addressing the real challenges faced by women. In this video, I invite you to discuss the implications of his arguments and broader social media on our understanding of gender relations today. How can we reconcile the idea of being a good man with the true idea of women's rights? Let's explore these topics together. What would you say to a 25-year-old who is afraid that girls will annoy him and hurt his feelings? Thanks. Well, an MIT professor says he's scared and incompetent as a geek. Unlike land whales and females, there was no fat power at that time. Feminists considered it an advantage because nerds were the first to create high technology and participate in the computer revolution. It may be true that today geeks are empowered by the internet, mobile devices, computer science, and programming. But not when I was growing up. In the early 1990s, fake people were considered abnormal and leprous. A digital nomad like myself, at BSCs, one of the first Canadians to use the Yahoo directory since they had very few connections. At that time, my ICQ was under 10,000 because of shame. Nerds use technology to communicate. Nerds are women first because they think that's what women want. Good men. People who are impulsive and opinionated are often more opinionated because they can't be excited when they're young. Being an SD&G fan is like living in the war itself. Being a high school or Star Wars fan in the early 1990s. Between the ages of 12 and 20, the MIT professor was afraid that one of his girlfriends would find the way he wanted her. He is called a foreigner, beaten, and possibly kicked. Getting kicked out of school is a big deal, but you get the idea. These boys grew up walking around on stilts with other boys and girls, so it's only natural that these habits continue into adulthood. Mindful women. They know that if a man can act crazy, he's doing it because it's a womanly thing to do, and they expect men to do the same. Beautiful, intelligent, hard-working, and successful people are considered lucky for them. He has the power to treat women like dirt, but he doesn't. Women are judged by what they can do, not what they do. The status of women is not fully expressed. It comes from any number of possible moves on the world chessboard, whether you make them or not. Men don't understand. We focus on decisions and actions rather than possible decisions. Most men are good-looking, but women find them weak and manipulative. They see a man shopping for his clothes. Bad boys are more honest because they don't hide their true nature. Most cool guys are good because it's established, especially guys from the 1980s and 1990s. You have to talk to girls when they're 13 or 14 and get rejected. I did, and it was an epic fail. I was scared and wanted to be brave, but I didn't worry until I was 17. Men over 25 have more anxiety when chatting with women. My advice is not to ignore female brainwashing and talk to women on road trips, vacations, or other situations that don't affect your daily life. I recommend many hair. The women there will catch you if you make fun of them, but they're more interested in falling into your shoes. People think older women are good at exercise because their bodies are like expired lottery tickets. Some may call out your bad habits. Men are afraid to embarrass themselves, but if you do, you won't care. Women love intelligent men because they have the courage to crush their naysayers. Women are afraid to be single and have children. Many times these people marry the first woman and have children and divorced 5 or 10 years later. The woman eats her best years. Avoid this. If you miss their best years, don't be there for their worst years. You, the rich, annoying person, will be their golden parachute. Don't let it bounce off the building and hit the wall. 911 style. Be careful. A place for women. It's a numbers game. If you approach 10 women, 1 or 2 will respond. Think of yourself as a salesperson selling hot meat injection insurance. Conclusion: late teens and 20s are timeless people. Attitudes and are more open to enjoying life without the pressure of being locked into a serious relationship. At this time, many people are not attached to the idea of starting a family, so this makes it easier to talk. My best advice is this: embrace the joy and freedom of this moment in your life. I can't help but think that in your generation there are men who seem afraid of women. It is very important to eliminate social cues and not get caught in traps that can lead to misunderstandings in relationships. Take, for example, the MIT professor who thinks he can take it easy. What about when it comes to divorce court? There are more opportunities. That's all I have to say for today. If you find this information important, don't forget to click the like button and press the arrow for notifications. Have a great rest of the day and hope your youth is productive.